This is going to be one heck of an episode.
I know we try to keep it to an hour, and for the most part we do, but hour and a half's like, it's going to happen. There's going to be times when...
It's going to happen.
Like, what was it? There was one time we had like a 30-minute interview or a podcast, and we were like, well, that's all she wrote, folks. So when there's cool stuff to talk about, there is. I tried to shave off, and I might have missed things, like if it was a DLC or if, God, we've already talked about it, like First Light, like we already know. So I tried to keep it within this list of newer stuff. I think I missed a couple, but you get the idea. This also gives ideas too. I really did my due diligence. I wanted to like tell dates so people could like look forward to those, because that's what I would want. I would want a podcast that would then tell me like, okay, when's this shit coming out? So I did that, which took forever.
Well, hats off. Should we get it started?
Wait. Yes.
Greetings to all you gregarious gremlins germinating in the gameverse. We have a really awesome episode 49 for you. If you've been living under a rock, State of Play has just absolutely rocked the gaming world with dozens of new trailers, announcements. We're going to break it down, all of our favorites, what we're most excited for, plus quite a bit of AI news as well in what has been an insane week. I guess let's just jump right into it and start with God of War.
Hey, first of all, folks, if you don't know State of Play, which I don't know why you're listening to us, but also, you know what? I shouldn't be such a butthead. You may not know what State of Play is. That is Sony's like kickoff. It's like once, twice a year that they do, or more, but there's usually one or two that are like, woo! And this one is maybe their longest, I almost feel like, since like E3. This was like over 60 minutes long of just banger after banger video games.
Yeah, it was really impressive. So Nintendo has a monthly cadence typically where they just debut one or two games.
It's called the Nintendo Direct.
Yep. And Xbox has...
is what's it called?
Developer something.
And then the game something. But yeah, then they have their developer.
Yeah, so this is the Sony's version for all of PlayStation. And wow, they brought the goods.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Including stuff that is now available today, which really caught me off guard.
Yeah, some people are very like iffy, like, is a shadow drop a good thing or a bad thing? In my opinion, I don't think so. Some people like the reviews. They like, us telling our 2 cents, or IGN or GameSpot or any of those cats, but a shadow drop's a shadow drop, and I think that's I always think that's cool. And some of these are not like crazy big titles that somebody should be freaking out over, and I don't think they're going to be heavy price tags.
Right.
But I'm very excited. For me, before we move forward, a hint: there are some older publishers that we have not really heard a lot from in maybe the last like 10 years. And also a genre and a style of games that I'm a huge fan of. And this really brought it back. So especially if you're an older gamer, or if you're a retro style gamer, or you wondered why people were talking about some of these games, whoa, congratulations. We are keeping history of video games alive, and some of these games are bonkers.
Yeah. So without any further ado, God of War. So God of War has been a staple for now 20 years in the PlayStation catalog, and they had a number of announcements. Chief among them was a God of War Trilogy remake in development, and that announcement was kicked off by the voice actor who did the original Kratos. So he's back.
It's great.
And they didn't share any details or any timeline, but it's pretty exciting. I'm wondering when they say remake, like, are they meaning like PlayStation 5, PlayStation 6, like full on update?
Well, this is what I was thinking was, if you remember, and it's really hard for me to remember, but original God of War was more like, well, Devil May Cry kind of took a lot of its mechanisms from the OG God of War. Along with that, though, the original God of War trilogy had fixed camera angles. It wasn't what we remember now since 2016. The new God of War, the more mature, older, fatherly, much more like a storyline after like a veteran and then having to go back into a different mythology. This is a much more bloody storyline wise, much more angry 20-year-old, 20-something Kratos with also a much older style of gameplay. So when they say remake, are they can't be talking like a Final Fantasy, but could they be talking like an RE2 where you don't have the fixed cameras, like they built it from the ground up? Or is this going to be like a nice refresh? It's going to be maybe like an RE4 compared to an RE2.
So the word I'm zeroing in on is remake, because a remaster would typically imply what they did with The Last of Us, where they update the graphics, but fundamentally the game does not change. But the fact that they're bringing back the original voice actor makes you scratch your head, because you're like, you know what? We have all the dialogue already. But apparently they want to, I guess, re-record.
That's a good call, man.
Record new dialogue. So I actually think they may be going down the Final Fantasy VII path and doing kind of a re-envisioning of the original God of War trilogy. And the fact that they're just announcing now with no other details, just saying it's in development, I wouldn't be too surprised if this ended up being a PlayStation 6 launch title.
I don't know about that. However, there's two other things I thought about too. They have been working still, whether money constraints and whatever's going on, we don't know. But like, we do know that there is a third God of War game that's supposed to come out. They did two, right? They did God of War, like they redid it, and then they did Ragnarok, and there was supposed to be a third to end that storyline with him and his son, because the son did some crazy stuff at the end of it. And it was like, oh, I have a super powerful son. How do I work with this? So, and this isn't like some Joe Schmo studio for Sony. This is Sony Santa Monica, who is set to do the third one, and they did the last two. So this also makes me wonder, like, do you need to pause like the third one? Because this sounds like if it's a remake, it's going to take a lot more effort. You're going to have to maybe build the engine from the ground up to restart this. This is old hardware, kind of. It's old software from way back in the day. Again, I gave the example of RE2. That is a super old game, and to remaster it might have been a lot easier. But camera angles and all that jazz don't fly, and they probably didn't fly back in the day. We just didn't know any better. That's all we had. So that's a lot more effort. You're going to have to recreate an engine and then recreate the game. Dude, I would love to be the fly on the wall. Like, this remake stuff is like, the more I think about it, is the most challenging thing you could ever do to also redo what that game, the look, the feel, the scope, the colors, all that stuff. So
it is not a trivial task.
I'm a little like, I'm wondering, Santa Monica is supposed to do the third one, and it's one of Sony's biggest, like, top 5 studios to do their bigger stuff. I hope interviews come out sooner or later that there is something that describes or explains maybe what I'm thinking and wondering, and somebody puts it out there.
So they said they're going to be tight lips for a while. It's going to be probably at least a year before we hear anything else, but still exciting. But you know what you can play today is a brand new God of War Sons of Sparta game that came out of left field.
Totally. This was the first shadow drop.
Yeah, so it is a 2D platformer. I'll hand it over to you to maybe dive into a little bit more detail, but it looks like very old school, and it probably scratches an itch that some of us have been feeling.
Me. I this is a very it's a pixelated game, but newer games now are a much more high res. They're what I would now consider a high res pixelated art style. Your Dead Cells, gosh, I have probably 20 others that I can think of right now. I can't remember the name of it. It starts with a B, but that's fine. Your Terrarias, I guess, ish. And this has that same, Prince of Persia, I think, also had a high res pixel. So this is very much a 2D style, like some of the iOS and PlayStation Prince of Persia's, to your side scroll, like your Hollow Knights. But this is telling a prequel story of when Kratos and his brother, which I forgot his name at this point, starts with a D, I believe, are a part of the Spartan, culture and that island, and, very 300 and whatever. And it's him learning the goods and the bads of being a good soldier, being a good person, and then also how the gods have an effect, again, positive and negative, to that. Him still being this really hardcore, by the book, whatever, the Spartans say and Sparta says, I'm going to do. And his brother is the more loosey-goosey, say a bard or a rogue, a very well, you know what? It looks fun, or what's it going to hurt us, or it'll be exciting. Let's do it. And so that push and pull of kind of a classic brother or buddy cop story. They did pull another voice actor. Again, I didn't do... Listen, this took me a long time to even make this list. But the voice actor that they used was in one of the older God of War games when it was doing flashbacks of when he was a kid, and they rehired him to do the voice acting for Kratos in this game, which I think, again, is a very cool thing. I think it's going to be decisive or divisive of how you like this art style. I love it. It has a very, sandy Mediterranean color palette. He is not white. That was all part of, his revenge and his wife and his kid. And that's a whole story, part of the original God of War trilogy. This is him as a 13-year-old who is learning to go through the ranks and become something great. I think it's really cool. The story, we've been dealing with the story for, 20
years. We just hit the 20-year mark.
So this is neat. This is really cool. And I don't think it's going to cost a lot of money. No, there's no reviews out for this game, but I don't think it's going to cost a lot of money. So I don't think it's going to take a lot of your pocket or your time to experience this. If you like, Shinobi or any of those kinds of side scrollers, you're going to enjoy this. And it looks like it has a fantastic story of this back and forth between the brothers and their trials and tribulations as it moves forward, leading to the first God of War. I'm excited. I can't wait. If this was on iOS or Switch 2, this is perfect. A perfect game.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking it up right now because it's available, so we should be able to figure out a price.
Oh, yeah, that's
actually $30.
I would take it, dude. I'll take it. It's a
Okay.
little, I think it's like $10 more than it should be. iOS would be like maybe 10 or 15, but I don't think it's horrible either. It's not 50, 60, or now the new norm is becoming 70.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I will say it kind of reminds me a little bit of the Aladdin platformer, if you remember that, back to the
Oh, yeah, man. Yeah, it's a great game.
SNES days, I think.
Yeah, it had its issues, but like overall, you know what? Honestly, as you were even saying stuff, a lot of our indie spotlights that you pick out are very much this high res pixelated style. This is a geekoid.
It fits right in there.
It is. This is a geekoid game.
All right, let's keep moving along the release calendar. So the next one on the list is near and dear to my heart, and that is Bungie's Marathon, which I just every day that goes by, I just get more and more psyched for this game.
You need to talk more about this game on this podcast, this episode, to get other people hyped.
So I went ahead and I pulled the trigger on the collector's edition. I have the maquette sitting on my desk right next to my PC.
The maquette.
It's fancy art talk, and you don't know it when you look at it initially, but it actually does light up, which is kind of cool.
How does it light up?
There's lights in the water that kind of illuminate it from the bottom.
And it's a female. She's walking through this like swampy area.
Well, she's a robot, so I don't think she has a sex, but she does have feminine qualities. But I'm pumped for this game. I have a number of people that are friends that work at Bungie that have worked on this game. Some of them are no longer at Bungie, but they did contribute, and I know they're all excited for it. So shout out to all you folks. And I've been hooked on every game Bungie has made. Like the original Halo had so much fun with that. Destiny 2, I played the death out of those games, and this one I think is just going to tickle that itch that I've been looking for a while. And I think the format being an extraction shooter is really going to play to kind of my schedule, if you will, being a dad running a side business and working full time and having another kid on the way. Like I don't have time for a massive MMO or epic RPG, but if I can just jump in and go and just shoot some people.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I like
Overwatch.
Overwatch was like, you've got 15 to 30 minutes, go play. Hearthstone was another one, like 15, 30 minutes, go play. Will you want to play more? Absolutely. That was fun. You lost. You want to do another one, but you don't have to. It's not like League or Dota where you've got one match, but that one match, it's either 30 minutes or most of the time, it's an hour.
Yeah. But I mean, here's the thing with Dota and League of Legends is that you play that game, you play that match, and it ends. And for better or for worse, there's not really much progression. But with these kinds of extraction shooters, oh yeah, like it is a long term. There's seasons so all the characters get reset every, I think it's 3 months or so. So I have mixed feelings about that because I don't know if I have the time to really climb that ladder every 3 months, but we'll see. Maybe I'll make it a priority.
Or does it make it fresh for you every time? It's like Diablo, season reset, and then you're like, okay, cool. Just let me, rinse and repeat, but it's still a different vibe.
Yeah. So I'm very excited. It drops on March 5th, but they are doing a server slam from February 26th to March 2nd.
Did you by chance watch the trailer in the guy talking in the background? Of all the trailers.
Yeah, it's you talk about the creepiness.
Holy God.
So I've actually started going down the rabbit hole.
It gives other vibes than even just a first-person shooter, dude. This is weird.
Yeah, so I think something that people may not realize is that Marathon is actually
Trying to pull it out of you, Eric.
a
Trying to pull it out of you.
30-year-old property.
What? I didn't know that.
Yeah, so there's actually Marathon games from 30 years ago. Like Bungie as a company, I think their very first game was Marathon. So yeah, it's kind of like that caught me by surprise. So the gameplay I was looking at is very reminiscent of Doom or Wolfenstein. It's kind of that very early 3D, and you're fighting aliens and cyborgs and stuff like that. And it yeah, the lore is super rich, and I need to brush up on quite a bit of it, but once you start going down it, like, this is a really rich universe. A lot of world building, I think, has been kind of hidden from us, and I think once people actually start getting into the game, they're going to be like, wow, this is really, really cool.
I hope you talk more about it, because this is the
I won't be able to shut up about it.
I hope you talk more about it, because this is the perfect platform to talk about that. Side note, I learned something new. The MacBook, because I'm also trying to learn Mac. MacBook put in a stupid update that right now works so great. So I'm in this collapsible gazebo in my backyard with a little propane fire pit, and it's getting a little dark here where I'm at in Indianapolis at 6:30, and you can tell the Mac, hey, I'm in a video call, I need a little bit more light, and it will do an artificial ring light on the screen.
Oh,
that
that's
you can
nifty.
also set the temperature to 64 to 40, so as much amber or white or in between as you want. And it just popped up, because also I put it at auto. When it's dark or light, it will do it when it can tell. And right now, it just did it, and I look okay.
Yeah, you look pretty good.
Thanks. Another remaster. This is a remaster, not a remake. But I didn't play this trilogy, but I did watch somebody, and we've talked about him. He's one of these few people that we just admire so much, and that is one of our old college buddies, Insile Mutwele. And it was Legacy of Kain. This one was like, I kind of missed it during the state of play, and then I was going back through like what games they had talked about. And if you've never played the PS1 to games, this is amazing, man. The storyline of Legacy of Kain, of this like fallen angel / turned vampire thing, is crazy. It based some of like my old stories that I want to develop with Inside. And we took a lot of like ideas from the storyline. So Legacy of Kain Defiance Remastered. Very dark fantasy, extremely dark. Now, I think they're just going to do an up-res on this. Again, this is a pretty old game, like God of War, but just the fact that this is being done is crazy.
I mean, it's got a very solid cult following, I would argue. And, even to this day, I think people like their vampires and shit, so.
No, listen, let's not go Twilight. I know where you're going with this, but like, this is not that, dude. This is not at all. You would be, they're both out here. Like, you would, at least if you could read the storyline off of Gemini or whatever, like, this is something you would sit in your bed and at least read. It's really...
Yeah, it's coming on March 3rd, too. I was right around the corner. So much stuff is dropping.
Yeah, I really tried, folks, to set dates so that you guys had an idea of some of this stuff.
I'll try and include this in the show notes, too.
Oh, that's a good idea.
No promises.
That's great. So Marathon's February 22nd, but then officially launches...
26th.
March, or 22nd, and then officially launches...
26th.
I said 26, 22nd, 26. And then officially launches March 5th. So is that like it's not a beta, an alpha? A soft launch?
Definitely not an alpha. It's not a soft launch, because everybody's characters get wiped at the end of it. It's basically a pressure test. They want to they call it a server slam. So they want to get as many people to test out the game concurrently so that they can put the servers.
Oh, did we do this with Evolve? I feel like we did this with Evolve.
We probably did, yeah, way back.
Yeah.
So moving right along, Legacy of Kain Defiance, March 3rd, Crimson Desert.
I'm looking because I know. Because also I'm like,
March 19th.
What is Crimson Desert?
You put it on here to remember what it is.
I put it on here. Crimson Moon.
So
Yeah.
it's developed by Pearlbus, which is the same people who did Black Desert Online. So it was originally conceived as a prequel to Black Desert, but it's evolved into kind of a standalone single player experience. So it's not just coming to PlayStation, it's also coming to PC and Xbox.
Good on you.
Medieval
nice job,
fantasy, conflict history. I honestly don't remember much from the state of play.
I do remember the graphics being like crazy. Well, this Crimson Moon, but yeah, it's very like gothic. Kind of has like thinking like third party, like Souls like or whatever, but in a Diablo gothic angel kind of look. Angels, demons, ancient gods, blah 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 blah. I mean, it looked cool. You can't see anybody's faces. Kind of very like Diablo angels, which also I was like, oh, that's cool. Somebody else should totally take that idea. It's so simple. Also, less work for the people to do.
Yeah, exactly.
But it looks good. It's at least if you're into probably a Doom Dark Ages or something like that, this probably not that like hardcore, fast, heavy metal, but put the two together. Put a Souls and a Doom together, and that's kind of right now what they're showing. Though it is an RPG, so take that with grain of salt.
Yeah. So coming next month, just over a month from now, should be interesting. But I really want to talk about the next one we have on the list, which is a collection of a number of games. And
It's the first of them. Yes, this is.
so if
Of
you're
the
familiar with
publisher.
PlayStation, you probably know the name Metal Gear Solid. And MGS is, I mean, Kojima, before he went on to do other things, was the foundation of Metal Gear Solid and really did an incredible job with the world building and the game mechanics. And really, I would argue he did a phenomenal job just helping build PlayStation as a brand known for innovative game mechanics, control mechanics,
I think
and
he did even more than that, man. Like, if we're gonna give him hype, like you're looking at that angle, but as two creators, two different types of creators, and two different mindsets. Like the things this guy did, like pushed filmmakers to think in different ways and different stories. Guillermo being one, and the brothers who did Stranger Things being another.
Duffer Brothers.
Yeah, his storylines are weird and very like, Asian. But because like, dude, there was some such weird shit. But
I mean, Death Stranding is definitely out there.
yeah, but this is him. I was gonna say like, chomping at the bit, or like not chomping at the bit, but like getting his teeth into a certain realm, but he did it for what, I don't know, 10, 15 years. Did prequels on top of continuing the story arc. Like the man he's almost like a Chris Metzen. He just had so many ideas of like where this story can go. And back in the day, Activision did give Metzen a lot of free, reign to just blow up everything. Thank you, Mythic Quest, for being a parody to that. And this is if you don't know the storyline, he is the craziest, weirdest secret op soldier for a very secret op organization. Think, Born Identity and, other things like that. This weird, Tom Cruise, Mission Impossible type stuff. And he goes up against the weirdest characters. And then he blows up a storyline of, the only spoiler I'd say if you've never played is clones. Lots and lots of clones of similar people. But the story is crazy good. Like, novel version of good. They're redoing them. They're going to bring back the collection. They did Volume 1. A lot of people had good things about Volume 1. I think Snake Eater was part of Volume 1. That would have been Metal Gear 3. The only thing that's a little weird, side note, is that they are not doing them in chronological order. I think they chose the first volume to see how it went, and it went really well. And so now they're going to basically the next ones that they saw that were good. And these are actually the ones that a lot of people are excited for. Metal Gear 4, Guns of the Patriots, and Peace Walker, which was a prequel of sorts.
Yeah. I'm super pumped. And I'll admit, I did not play many of the Metal Gear Solid games, and I'm now very excited to sink my teeth into them.
If being nuts, if you ever did a marathon on all of these, it would take forever.
It's like, how much time do you think I have on my hands?
But the storyline and this was the ultimate, and he moved away slowly from it because it was getting harder and harder. But
it was also silly at some points.
But it was the ultimate of can you get through a level without ever being seen or noticed? This spawned board games since I joined the board game cult in 2014. This is the penultimate of can you do that? Is it possible? And there are very, very few that have replicated this. There's been one person who got the IP and he designed it, and it's pretty close. But this is a cool genre that's really never, and mechanism that's really never came to life other than what Kojima did.
Yeah. But the box hiding, they've taken it to another level, and I think this is probably one of my favorite reveals, announcements, whatever you want to call them, during State of Play, and that is Darwin's Paradox. And it is basically an octopus that takes the role of Solid Snake.
For a heartbeat. I like that they started that way.
It is so wild, and the visual direction is spot on. And
it reminds me of Abe's Odyssey. If anybody remembers Abe's Odyssey was also great. I think there was a cartoon, maybe there was definitely comic books of this weird world of aliens, and they were munching down other things to make food, and kind of a gross concept. But it was in this cute, cartoony way, which kind of softens everything, which you do. And this totally has vibes of you sneaking around other aliens to get through your puzzles and your objectives. Some people kind of poo-pooed on it. Honestly, I think this looks great, and it looks really difficult.
I mean, here's the thing. I can only do so much sneaking around before I just want to pull out the guns and just run at people's faces. I think that's why I like Borderlands so much. Because I don't have time for all that sneaking around. But when you're playing as an octopus, it does seem like a lot of fun.
As a newer game, if you can think of Insider without the creepy black and whiteness of it, this has that Insider vibes. You're trying to get through a level, kind of like Metal Gear, like without being detected, or if it does, it's part of the storyline. Then you have to like get through these obstacles to get to the other level. And then I'm sure there's some goofy story. Side note, one thing that was not officially announced, but then it was there, going back to the Metal Gear, was a game that originally came out on the Game Boy Color, and that was Metal Gear Ghost Babel. A goofy title, but in most people's statistics, it's like top 10 of the Metal Gear games to play. Good gameplay, good story, and it has an old... So Metal Gear Solid was PlayStation 1 onward. Little 2.5, camera angle. The old NES was a really old school top-down army game with the classic sneaking and shooting and whatever. And this Babel kind of has a little bit of both of that, but I guess the gameplay is really great. The story is like exponential. It's like crazy good.
Okay. I will absolutely, definitely check it out. Let's keep moving though. Beast of Reincarnation. This was an interesting one. I love the art direction, the animation. I probably won't pick it up because it's not really my style game.
Well, I'm like looking for
There
it.
was like a husky wolf looking thing that had like flowers and vines for a tail.
No, you're thinking of where's all my... You're thinking of Kenna with the girl on the top. Oh, there's the
Nope.
beast.
Nope.
Nope, you totally are. Never mind. Totally big dire wolf with vines and roses coming out of its butt to make a tail.
Because I watched this like 2 hours ago. I know what I'm talking about.
One person, one dog action RPG.
I mean, it looks interesting, but it's not gonna scratch any itches that I have.
Is it the Japanese thing? This is pretty heavy Japanese.
Yeah,
There was a lot of heavy.
There was a lot of
this was
very
this
Japanese
was the
stuff.
state of play of like heavy Japanese.
Yeah, it screamed konnichiwa, bitches. But maybe we just move right to Castlevania.
Is this the third Konami? This is the third Konami. Metal Gear, Darwin's Paradox, which cracks me up. But Castlevania, how long have we been asking, hoping, who's asking Konami, but hoping for a Castlevania game? And they're like, you know what? Here you go.
Yeah. So this one takes place 23 years after the events of Castlevania 3, Dracula's Curse. And it's, again, a 2D action exploration platformer. So if
With
you're into that...
an art style that is just mind-blowing.
Yeah. So, I mean, it looks like a lot of fun. It's very refined, I would argue. So if you're into 2D platformers, this is probably a must buy.
Yeah, and the two developers, Konami's really been looking at more, except for a couple of titles, which we'll talk about. But they've been looking at like, okay, who are other studios that we can hire to do our games? And this is a combination between Evil Empire and Motion Twin. I don't remember which one. I think it's Motion Twin. Maybe it's Evil Empire. I don't remember. But one of them has good pedigree in this gameplay style. The other one is my favorite. They make Dead Cells, which is
There you go.
my number one game. I love that game so much. So
yeah,
this,
awesome.
This does not have the high-res pixel version, so if you are adverse to that, this does not have it. However, it does have a very...
It's got like a beautiful painterly style.
Yeah, it's like a CG 2D with, a paint inlaid in the black borders. It's gorgeous. Some people were also saying because the Belmont that's being portrayed actually has, if you've never watched the Netflix cartoon, which a lot of people think is great. So now I kind of need to watch it because doing all this research, they were like, oh my God, it gives me such Netflix vibes. So I think they pulled some of that art style, even with like the Belmont has this very long braided ponytail, and it has like art style and reminiscence to the Netflix series. So if I can stay up late and stay awake, I might try to, binge watch the first season. But this looks so good. And though Konami
It's
doesn't want to
right up your
say
alley.
oh, dude, this is not a Metroidvania because, Metroid's Nintendo. This gives that, like, you have to go explore. You have to go seek out what's going on and go back. It's very exploratory, and I like that exploratory. And if you get your butt beat, you get your butt beat. So you have to be careful. You have to, like, really figure out what you can do and what you can't do, and I like that. It's like open world in a weird 2D space.
Yeah. So I want to keep moving. I think it'll be awesome. You'll play it. I probably won't. But one thing that came out of left field that I was a little bit surprised at is a sequel to Control. So if you're not familiar, it originally, I believe, was a VR game. And they've just taken it and done a whole lot of world building and expanded, uh, and it looks really, really cool.
This was, so you have to remember too, these state of plays or directs, like, they may only show you CG. I don't remember how many times you and I it was like Super Bowl for us. We would like get together, grab our pizza, grab our beer, sit on the couch and watch BioWare and Blizzard, Activision, just like blow us away with CGs. And we'd be like, they need to make a movie out of their CG stuff. And still haven't gotten that.
Well, Blizzard did it once, and well,
Well,
we know how that went.
They didn't do it.
They didn't do it
purely them.
themselves. Yeah.
If it would have been them, it might have been different, maybe.
Who knows?
But this showed a lot of gameplay, and this am I wrong in thinking like this almost had like Inception vibes, where like you saw buildings tilting and they could move back and forth, and gravity, like a little bit of like Stranger Things, Doctor Strange, where you're moving onto different It was crazy. It actually like hurt my brain of like, would I be able to play this game okay? Or would like moving literally 90 degrees to the right and then landing on another building.
Yeah, you watch the video, it's like, oh, this character has the ability to adapt to changing gravitational wells or something along those lines. And so they're jumping from building to building, and literally your perspective is shifting because gravity is changing, and it is
mind blowing.
Yeah, it seemed really cool. I don't know if it was gimmicky. I'd like to see what else they bring for the rest of it. So we don't have a solid release date yet. We just know 2026, but TBD on what else they bring. Kenna, Scars of Kosmora,
the most pretty game of this entire state of play.
I mean, I felt
I don't know how the gameplay is going to be, but pretty wise, my God, dude.
So here's the thing. I think I actually bought the first Kenna.
Wasn't great. It was pretty. Wasn't great.
Bridge of Spirits, and yes. I never completed it. I found it a little too repetitive, and it was just kind of like, I'm just running around trying to find things and put them together. And
yeah, I think they, so the original founders, brothers, like, they were an animation, they were an animation studio. So they would get hired on to help other people like Coca-Cola and the Cute Bears and whatever before AI. Thanks, AI. And Star Wars and stuff like that. And so Ember Lab, the brothers and their team of employees, decided they want to do a video game. and that was the bridge. Animation was gorgeous. Story was pretty good. Gameplay, it was fine. Katie's ratings, it would have definitely been a meh. It was, or I said fine. It's a fine. It's above a meh. It's fine because maybe the animation. But this sounds like, in looks from the trailer, like they really focused and honed in on animation again. My God, in a bigger story, but also bigger gameplay mechanisms that you can use to fight the stuff off. Again, it gives me a little bit of that Souls there, or Horizon Zero Dawn would be another good example of, like, here's this big creature. There is a set path and things that it's going to do, and you have to, like a puzzle, kind of figure out what this creature is doing for you to then juke, maneuver, and defeat it.
Yeah.
It looks good.
Yeah, I'm much more excited for this one, and I will definitely give it a try. We again don't have a release date, just 2026 sometime. Moving right along, though, something
Nami.
I'm very excited for is Silent Hill Townfall. I mean, this looked creepy AF, and I'm man,
the whoever the actor is too, I just loved the character they chose. We don't know a lot about him right now, but just watching him, his age, like, my God, like, I'm just really, really excited.
yeah.
The setting is different.
Yeah, do you want to talk about the isolated island off of Saint Amelia?
It's in Scotland. What a weird choice. I originally thought this was like we were talking FaceTime and stuff and on the phone. Like, this looked very like New England, like Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire kind of thing, lobsters and ice claw and whatever. But this is set on an isolated island, Saint Amelia, which is off of the Scottish coastline. And this individual is figuring out what's going on with him, and he's got IVs, and he has this old CRT, like AAA battery or 2D, old school CRT portable TV thing that gives me some other like survival horror vibes of, like, I gotta look through the camera, and then if I drop it, I don't see things. I like the setting too, because Silent Hill's always been that this fog comes in and something changes, and then the fog lifts or the day resets, and then, the setting changes again. And this is a very interesting, like, real world where fog is always coming into that Scottish island and then kind of resetting and then coming back again. It is super neat. And this one is an OG original Konami game. This is their publishing and developing this game. It was even a big deal. They showed their Tokyo office, and they're like, no, Konami's back, which, yes, you're totally right. Good,
they're
good on you.
they're very much back. So I'm excited that they're back. I think I just want to gloss over a few other ones. You'd called out Pragmata. I'm excited for this game, but I feel like it was so confusing. Like, what am I looking at?
Yeah, it gave me like I think I said it. It was like, it gave me a Division where it's in dystopian, you're on the streets, everything's kind of in rubbles, things are going on. And then you have like guy in spacesuit. So it gave me kind of like Dead Space vibes with
a girl on his back.
But very Japanese, like this like big-eyed blonde little girl who looks like a cyborg or android of some sort, who then can help, but he is protecting her. So very much like a Samurai Cub kind of idea. But it's Capcom. So we're talking about these two older, or we're talking about Konami being this older, and Capcom within the last, I would say, year or two has really just come back being like, hey, you guys remember us? And now they are one of the top, I would say, 5 studios that like you're excited when and if Capcom is going to announce something. Konami, I think, is going to be within 5 right now. But that Pragmata is such a brand new IP from Resident Evil and other stuff. It's still a big deal. It comes out April. So that's cool.
Which is right around the corner. I'm surprised they didn't show more.
I think because they have been already so much. It was
Maybe.
almost like, this is more like, okay, we know it's out. Let's just, now we're excited.
I do remember
let's,
a year
let's
ago
just
when
see
they
it.
first introduced it. So, but still, I feel like they didn't show too much more. Anyway, Konami has
Last one, right? Is this also their own IP?
Are you talking about Rev Noir?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this one is it's weird, but at the same time, it is not something I typically thought I would have gravitated towards, but the RPG elements in it and the world building, I might have to give this one a try. So I don't even know how to describe it. Like it seems very much like an anime forward RPG, but kind of Final Fantasy in some regards.
You're so hurting my brain that I'm watching the trailer right now because I was like, is it really that hard to describe? And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. So give us just a minute so we can vamp and talk. It is heavy anime. Why they do the whole bangs in between the eyes and then everything else, it's fine. Whatever. That's your choice. I'm not an anime person. My brothers who do listen would be like, oh, I'm so upset with you. It's a style, man. It's cute. But it is the most, it gave me, what's a really, I mean, you can list them all. What's a dark, creepy anime? Probably all of them, in all honesty. But this gave me like, oh, it's so cute. And there's like kind of like a Legend of Zelda, like open worldness to it. But man, it looks like people are like crusting and dissolving and
Oh yeah, there's some really interesting world building going on in this.
so is it me and Eric style? No, but it has to be talked about. So at least you go and check it out because it might be yours.
Honestly, I was intrigued. I was like, maybe I'll pick this up because we'll see. Release date TBD, maybe not even this year.
Everybody is frozen in gold.
Yeah, it was so weird and bizarre, and I like weird and bizarre.
Well, it's anime too. It's like if you like weird and bizarre, watch anything.
Yeah. So we did get a John Wick trailer. So there's a John Wick game coming.
It's exciting. It's by, I think it's the Sapin.
I
didn't say that right.
Here's my take.
I think it's gonna be good, but I'm excited.
I really enjoy John Wick as a movie and as a comic book franchise, but when it's the disconnect between my input and the controller in my hands to what is happening on screen. That it's like button press and then roundhouse kick to the face or whatever. It just I don't think it will translate into a game that I will want to play.
I think it might. I think because you can do such crazy stuff, like they already showed that the world is very, like it's up to you. Like you pick up an item, like you can use it and use it in fighting style, and worlds are destructible. And if you slam up against, bookshelves, like, or coffee tables or whatever, like that works. And that works for that game. But I agree with you. Like that movie, in all the movies, the big thing that's like the story is whatever. It's fine. We all are sad about the dog. But like it's really the Asian but it was in America, and set in America. But it's that Asian choreography that people just go, that is nuts. And I don't know if it's going to show that off. Also, the art style is a little, we saw so many kind of grandiose, even like remastered stuff, and like, Rayman 30th anniversary and older stuff that's coming back to new light. And I don't know if this had a lot of money put into a little bit higher fidelity in graphics. So,
I mean, it looked pretty crisp, I will say.
Yeah, but, I just watched, that Rev Noir, and we watched, remastered and remakes of other games, and there's a little bit lacking in this John Wick. My hope is it'll, with all of this stuff and these people that are spending years developing them, I hope it turns out good, but it's one that I would say this is the ultimate to be determined. If it's going to be okay.
So when I think about it, I think about the Max Payne games, which actually, no, that's a terrible analogy, because part of Max Payne was slowing down time and kind of bullet fighting. And John Wick doesn't really have that. John Wick is just so fast and visceral and hand-to-hand combat. And I'm worried it's just going to be one of those games where it's like, oh, press the circle button to do this, and press the X button at this time to do this, and I don't know, but we shall see. Star Wars had a new game, Galactic Racer. So if you're ever fans of the pod racing games, this will absolutely scratch that itch. It seems to be not just pod racing, but just racing in general. And you know what? Anything in the Star Wars universe that has to do with things going fast, I'm a fan of. So
yeah, and I just poo-pooed on John Wick maybe not being the greatest graphical achievement that is coming out in 2026 or whatever, because John Wick is still in development, so maybe 2027. This Star Wars game, though, let me think what I'm going to say here. I did not think it looked that graphically demanding. However, I think there's a reason to that. Tell me if I'm right or wrong in your opinion. You're making a game that is supposed to be like, oh my God, so fast that only, in the lore, only aliens can like take the G's and understand the left, right, up, down, A, B, start, stuff.
Yeah. So the difficulty with this kind of game is you have the player controlling a vehicle that is traversing at hundreds of kilometers an hour. And so you have all that geometry for the course flying by. And you like, what do you spend your art budget on? Do you spend it on making really nice looking boulders when they're just going to be blurred to hell because you're flying by them?
Yeah. This reminds me of Forza. It's like, but that's Microsoft. That's their baby.
Yeah.
So of course, that team is going to make.
You're not going nearly as fast in Forza, and
that is
you're
true.
driving around a persistent universe, in this case, Japan, whereas in Star Wars Galactic Racer, you are going from circuit to circuit and not on a persistent universe. It's not like you can drive around and look at the boulders.
No, you're going too fast. You're going way too fast.
So it's really difficult how you manage that art budget, I think. So it'll be interesting to see how it turns out.
I think it's a smart move. I hope it turns out well. My other little issue is, are we seeing a lot of racing games? And I have nothing wrong with that at all. I mean, we have JRPGs coming out of our hoo-has. Like, my God, dude. But it's a new generation, and it's a new generation of consumers and a new generation of, developers. What are they all into? And that's, hey, baby, JRPGs are back, but in a grand open world scale that, boggles the minds of many, 30 and 40 and 50-year-olds. So I hope that this game does well. Star Wars has been a hard sell, and a racer game might be a even harder sell with other racing games coming out, and you put it in a Star Wars IP. I want it to do good because I think pod racing in Galactic Racer is
that's a fair point.
so cool.
I didn't think about that, but you raise a really good point. We don't have a release date yet, but I think that will be critical to how well it does. TBD.
I'm glad we talked about it. Hopefully, one of you does check it out and does enjoy it.
Yeah. So one last one I think we want to call out, which
I saved it for last, dude.
No, it was amazing.
It has the most story to it. I even tried looking up the story behind it.
So we were watching the live stream, Jarrad and I.
It was one of the first things, bro.
Yeah, and I had to drop, but
Dude, we're watching together. You're in the kitchen, and all you say is giant chicken.
Yeah, so, I mean, like, there's a giant chicken who just drops from the sky with a huge ass sword and just starts mowing down people left and right. I'm like, what is this game? It looks amazing.
There's a hashtag right now that's called Project Buff Chicken.
That is awesome. So this is Project Windlass. We don't even have a title yet.
Who's developing this? Let me look this up while
but
you're
it's
talking.
it's based on a Korean novel called The Bird That Drinks Tears, which is often described as Asian Tolkien, if you will.
Yeah. Some have even said that there's a little bit of Dune in there because there are 4 major factions. And so then the factions in the political war give it a little bit of that Dune. But most of it is very like real hard, dense Tolkien fantasy.
Yeah. So it looks very visceral Dynasty Warriors kind of combat where you
In an open world.
Yeah, in an open world. So they didn't share too much on the actual game itself, just aside. But I mean, I loved the art direction.
Dude, it's beautiful.
It looked incredible, yeah.
My gosh. Oh, it's so bad I have to put in what year I was born to play this video. Really? That's kind of weird. How about 1900?
I mean, it was a little bit bloody. So I'm pretty pumped for it.
Oh, I guess so. The first video is a heart in somebody's hand. Okay. Well, yeah. And there's 4 races like a naga, so you have kind of like that that serpent race that if we all remember from WoW or whatever. You have the Reckon, which I'm probably saying that totally wrong, but it's a bird race, and then you have two other races. And I even went so down this rabbit hole that the giant buff chicken that is portrayed in this video is not the original chicken that is in the novel. This is the king of that race of Reckon. And so we're watching the king, who has a, awesome storyline because he's a king and how did he become a king, blah, 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 of what's going on. It's, this is the most Asian.
I came in like a wrecking king.
Yeah, super. Like, I mean, he is slashing it. Blood is going all over the place. It is gorgeous. The mythology and everything that's in this is crazy. His superpowers, the CG, weird, and always Asian culture just comes up with the most mythological things that I could never think of in my life. We are definitely ignorant to like, you could be more creative. Yeah,
Oh
we
yeah,
could.
it's super fun how much new stuff is coming out of the East.
It looks great, dude.
It looks like a ton of fun. I'm not a
Kinda,
huge Dynasty Warriors kind of action gameplay guy, but
but like
it
we
looks
haven't
fun.
played Souls. I've never played Dynasty Warriors or Hyrule Warriors, but this one, if it's more open world, there is a whole novel and a storyline behind it.
I mean, giant
Dude,
chicken.
giant chicken and very angry serpent lady. I'm really down for it, dude. Again, this would be one of those games that, like, I don't know if Eric and I could play this game, like, with the time constraints we have, but wow. This would be like,
We might be
if
able to
I
figure it
had,
out.
I would like to. If there's a co-op mode, I'm done. That's it.
All right, that brings us to the end of kind of our summarized coverage of State of Play. What was your favorite takeaway, or your favorite thing you're most excited for?
So probably against a lot of like newer listeners, but I hope it resonates to them, is I like kind of it's really hard for video games to stay within history. It's not like a book. You make the book, you print it, and it can get reprinted. It can be saved. Video games are very different in what the hardware was and the software at that time and the code. So preservation of games means a big deal to me. To see remasters, to see remakes, to some degree, even see emulated games to some degree, help with keeping that stuff alive. That was, I think, a really cool push from people who developed Rayman and, your Metal Gears and God of Wars, your Resident Evils, your Final Fantasies, and even updating them. You could still find and play those older games, but even there, looking back at it in how can we not just revitalize it, but put in a whole new life to it that probably, especially me, like the Final Fantasy stuff, like I think I would have rather played, and I will get probably shat on by some of my friends of high school, but like I loved Final Fantasy VII. But the new Final Fantasy VIIs give me more story. They give me more action. Also an action style that I think I like more even then, but more so now. A more in the moment battle instead of this back forth hitting the buttons, back forth hitting the buttons. Like I like board games, and that style is much more board game-esque. Like, oh, I'm gonna fight. Okay, well, what's my cards? Where's my points at? All right, let me level that up. But not in a video game. I think I want more fluid actions and more fluid things to happen, and then you give me choices that I can manipulate on the fly. Oh, I wish I had this. Okay, cool. Hit that button and move and keep going, because you want that fast action gameplay and cinematics. You're seeing all this stuff happening like it's a movie in real life, or one that you're controlling. So I love that. On top of this, I'm a huge 2D side-scrolling guy. So seeing Sons of Sparta, seeing Rayman 30th Anniversary, which kind of was a shocker to me. Legacy of Kain, not so much 2D, but an older style. And oh my God. Whew. Number one, baby. Castlevania, Belmont's Curse. Golly. Oh my God. So excited.
Jared's gonna be doing that.
Dude. I'm so excited. And, my my runner-ups would be Silent Hill Townfall looks crazy, and I really want to experience Kenna Scars of Kosmora.
Moria, yeah.
Yeah. Because I like, that illumination style or some of that newer Pixar that honestly, like, a lot of people don't like. Like, was it Onward? Oh, it was another one where they went into the center of the earth. Like, it has more of that art style. And those were some of my favorite Pixar movies. What about you, man?
So I'm really torn. Obviously, Marathon is near and dear to my heart. I'm super pumped about it, but I don't want to dive into that because we're gonna go real hard on the next few weeks. One thing that we didn't talk about that I think looked really cool was For Loop.
Oh, did I miss that? I'm sorry.
No, it's cool. I mean, it's kind of out there. It's a squad team shooter where
Was that part of the state of play?
yeah,
Oh,
where you team up and you basically select how you get to the end boss and different levels, and you choose kind of like what enhancements you want, and it seemed refreshing and a new take, and it seemed like something that was new and empowered by the latest generation of tech. And
Bad Robot.
so I thought that was really cool. I don't know if there's a release date around that, but it just kind of like felt new and refreshing and not like anything we had ever seen before in gaming. Hats off and kudos to people who are pushing boundaries and trying new things.
Do you think this is like we keep talking about Evolve, and we never talk about Evolve, which I love.
The first thing I thought about when I saw this trailer was Evolve. I was like, this felt like that experience, that novelty that we had when we first sunk our teeth into Evolve. Like,
because this is a co-op, and it's a mechanism more a 4-player co-op shooter, and there are very few. And the last one that I can really remember that is of this scale is Evolve. This looks like Evolve. I would totally be down for this. Because I like, what was another co-op that I really love on Steam? Was it Left 4 Dead? My God, dude. I love that game so much. It's one of my favorite games of all time. It's so hard, but you're doing it together and yelling. It's like WoW raids, but like at my level. Instead of 50 people, it's 4.
Exactly. So I think we need to...
It has a little Titanfall, too.
Put a pin in things for the moment. I have a number of AI-related topics that I want to get to, but maybe we can record that tomorrow because my family needs dinner.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm watching the trailer, and it was the one thing I guess I missed, and it is so weird.
It's so weird, but so cool.
It is the weirdest. It's not just even techie. It's like organic and alien, and it's like
oh, you fail, we'll reprint your body.
Is that what they were doing? I was like, what is happening with this dude's body and like getting reconstructed?
Okay, so we will continue this conversation.
Whoa, laser fields.
And oh my God, there's so much AI stuff to talk about too. Tomorrow. A la mañana.
Yeah, because it's 3-day weekend for some people.
And not for me.
Yeah, not for anybody else.
I'll call you on the other line.
I dig it. And folks, thank you very much for this state of play and for listening to us. What episode is this again?
49.
So one more, the big marathon / AI, whatever. I can't believe Bad Robot's making it.
I know, it's weird. We got to dig into that.
Yeah. Don't they make movies?
Exactly. I mean...
Are we getting into Iwata?
What's his face hasn't made a movie in a while.
Iwata. What's Weta? We're getting into like Weta territory.
Yeah. All right. We need to do some research.
End of transmission.